Welcome to the 21st century, where the mere mention of masculinity or femininity is enough to send the average person into a defensive tailspin. Say femininity, and you're accused of promoting oppression. Utter masculinity, and you're automatically branded a tyrant, abuser, or some kind of prehistoric relic. This isn't reality, folks. It's pathology, and it's cooking society faster than a microwave dinner on high. The problem is that people aren't responding to these concepts based on what they actually are. Instead, they're defaulting to pathological reference points, a twisted feedback loop of bad ideas, poor experiences, and cultural brainwashing. Masculinity isn't inherently oppressive, nor is femininity inherently weak or oppressed. But good luck getting that through to anyone whose gut reaction is to immediately clutch their pearls or ready the pitchforks. Having talked to dozens, yes, dozens of people about this, it's clear that the default reactions are so deeply ingrained, they become second nature. Ask someone what femininity means, and you'll likely get a blank stare, maybe even a whiff of hostility. Ask women if they're looking for a man, and you'll get everything from confusion to resentment. The idea of even desiring a relationship built on traditional traits, shock, horror, has been so thoroughly torched that many can't even comprehend it anymore. This isn't just theory, it's lived experience. 20 women, 20 conversations, and not a single coherent answer to, are you looking for a man in your life? What I got instead was frustration, deflection, or outright hostility. Why? Because the question itself collides with their pathology. The default response is to feel offended, helpless, or oppressed, as though the mere idea of femininity being desirable is an attack on their very existence. And here's the kicker. Even bringing this up will probably trigger those exact same reactions in readers. It's like proving a hypothesis in real time. At its core, this pathology stems from the breakdown of healthy reference points. There are still people with balanced relationships to these concepts, people with strong family dynamics and a sense of self, but they're becoming rarer. The loudest voices in the room now are the ones that conflate masculinity with toxicity and femininity with victimhood. This narrative has consumed the cultural conversation to the point that we're gaslighting ourselves into thinking these warped definitions are the only reality. Newsflash, they're not. There are men who embody strength, leadership, and responsibility without being oppressive tyrants. There are women who embrace grace, nurturing, and emotional intelligence without being oppressed. The issue isn't the traits, it's the lens through which they're viewed. Here's where things get bleak. Many modern women can't even articulate what they're looking for in a man because the very concept of wanting a man has been painted as regressive or weak. Men are no better, often paralyzed by fear of being labeled toxic for expressing even the faintest whiff of traditional masculinity. This leaves both sexes floundering, unable to connect on even the most basic level. The result? A generation of people who are single, lonely, and increasingly bitter about it. Instead of looking inward, they double down on their pathological defaults, blaming the opposite sex or society at large, while refusing to address their own broken programming. So, what's the solution? First, we need to recognize that the pathology exists. You can't fix a problem you refuse to see. Second, we need to reclaim healthy, balanced definitions of masculinity and femininity. This doesn't mean reverting to 1950s stereotypes. It means valuing traits like strength, grace, responsibility, and emotional intelligence without letting cultural baggage warp them. Lastly, we need to give each other some damn grace. Not every man is a toxic brute, and not every woman is a victimized flower. We're all just people trying to navigate a world that's made a complete mess of what it means to be human. If we don't address this collective pathology, the cycle will continue. People will stay single, bitter, and confused, blaming everything but the real issue, their own skewed perceptions. Masculinity and femininity aren't the problem. The problem is the warped lens through which they're seen. So let's stop the madness. Put down the pitchforks, take a deep breath, and remember that it's okay to appreciate the opposite sex. It's okay to want a balanced relationship. It's okay to admit that the problem isn't cosmic forces or society at large. It's us. Fix the lens, and maybe, just maybe, we can start fixing ourselves.